Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our first Zoom on the bus goes to no one other than Mr. Cameron Jordan, a Pro Bowler.
Oh, yeah, hold the applause.
A Pro Bowler, a dominant defensive end in the NFC South, and possibly Tom Brady's father, the first father ever to be younger by about 15 years than his actual son. It's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Hey, hang on. But what's the number one thing he does? He's the host of Trust Levels Podcast.
He's the host of Trust Levels Podcast. Hey, that intro could not have gone worse if I tried even harder. All right, Cam, listen. You guys had a great game last week against Tom Brady. All right, 38-3. First play of the game, you take Tristan Wirf, rookie, take him, put him on roller skates, show him this is how you play the game of football, put him into the back of Tom Brady, and swiped him. Could have possibly been a hands to the face, could have been a penalty, but it was not a penalty. Ending up dominant. The first time Tom Brady's ever been swept in his career in divisional games. How do you feel about that? What's the vibe like in the locker room? Obviously, we saw the vibe, but how are you feeling about that?
I mean, we were more excited about controlling what we can control, right? So, they had 8 total yards rushing.
Ooh, that's tough.
As an offensive lineman,
what else? Hey, what else? He's got more. What else?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of pressures. I mean, I feel like, we were constantly, from the first play on to the last play, we were constantly in this space. You love to see a quarterback get frustrated at his offensive lineman. When he's no longer like looking at the defensive lineman,
he's right. He's right. Hey,
literally all the things you said were like the most triggering things for me to hear. I'm over here. I'm crawling on my skin. I would hate to be an offensive lineman for Tom right now.
Would it be fair to say that you guys run the NFC South?
I mean, 3-time NFC South champs. Some would say, Tampa Bay was the favorite second son, so they're going to stay right there. Somebody's, we're going to keep on pressing. I'm going to wait till the end of the season.
So what you're saying is you hear the chirps outside the building when they're trying to crown the Buccaneers, and you're just letting them know, hey, we brought the brooms to the game. Like, we still run this thing.
Until you get knocked off the mountain, you're still at the top.
I love it.
Hey, I tell you, I love the confidence, dude. And I think it shows more confidence in your post-game celebration. First off, whose camera was that? How'd the celly get going? And was Sean Payton in that thing dancing?
I saw Sean Payton. What do you guys call that whole light club thing you guys got going on?
I would say, Club Lil Saint been going on for about 4 years now. 3?
What do you say? Club what? Club Lil Saint?
Club Lil Saint.
Okay.
I think that's what the defense is dubbed in. I don't know if it has an official name.
We've never looked wider.
It might be
yeah, I know.
We're in New Orleans.
Hey, that shit is fun to see, dude. Seeing Sean Payton get in the mix and mix it up with the boys. How dope is he as a head coach and having him around? I also see that he retweets every now and then. He pokes his head on social media on Twitter once in a while. The man's battled and whooped COVID, and he's dancing in the locker room in Club Lil Saint. What is it like to have him as a head coach?
I mean, anybody that's been around Sean knows that he's a challenging, coach. He's somebody who is clearly an offensive-minded guy. So luckily, I don't have to deal with him unless we're screwing up.
Yeah.
Like the only time he comes down and really talk to us is if he doesn't like what we're doing. And that's like after a couple series. So if he comes down, you're like, all right, we got to tighten the fuck up then.
Yeah.
Other than that, like we're on. Like he'll come down. He'll be like, as long as you get the ball back, we got 50 plays, and I love them all. I'm like, Coach, we're going to put up 50 points on him. And he'll really try and put 50 points on somebody's head, like anybody.
I kind of like that, though. Go for 2 at the end of the game when you're up by 24 because you can't go for 3, that kind of mentality.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's greasy. And, like, it brings an edge to everybody. Like, when you're talking – when you got a head coach talking greasy to players on the field.
Yeah.
We're coming at you, number 23. Oh, you all day, every day.
Make sure to look up the word greasy when we're done with this interview. We're way too wide on this pod. I have no idea what a greasy means.
That fires me up though, dude.
Dude, speaking of greasy or whatever, different kind of dudes, rewind a couple years ago, all right? Was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, out there eating W's like they were Whoppers.
That's a W. Let's eat one.
Going viral.
That made me uncomfortable. And I love to have Jameis on the podcast to talk about this because it's always better to hear from the horse's mouth. Buddy was eating W's 2 years ago, putting his full fingers in his mouth, by the way. Like that's
in there.
Yeah.
That's grimy, my friend. But then you go to the celly this past week and he's in there. And you know what I love most about Jameis Winston? He dies on the sword. All right. What happened a few years later? He's on a different team, still in the NFC South, and he's gnawing them things.
Why was everyone able to be so productive tonight?
What do you say to him?
Like, he embraced it,
Right.
Like, everybody made fun of him until all of a sudden them dubs is actually meaning winning.
Yeah.
Those dubs were like the East Coast style, like, oh man, that's a dub, like it's an L. Now it's finally that West Coast style. The dubs finally mean what they're supposed to mean. So now everybody's like,
No, they do it too. Have you done it? Have you eaten a W?
That's probably as close as you're going to see me eat a dub. I'm not like, it's cringeworthy to me, but
Yeah.
Was it cringeworthy when you see him sneak it in the in Club Lil Saint after the game dancing?
he embraced it.
He did embrace
that's
it.
his thing, you know,
When you say no white tees in the club, no eating W's in the club.
Yeah.
I would have told him, get your ass out of here with that shit, dude. That is a little bit ridiculous. The W thing kind of throws me off a little bit. But if he's your teammate, got to respect. That's what we're here on this podcast all about. We're always for the boys.
it's always about support. Like, you just got to, that's your thing. That's your thing.
Oh,
I'm just
my
going to be from the side like this.
God. Yeah, hey, that's a bit of a deal right there, huh?
Yeah, you got it.
That's a bit of a
my
deal.
guy.
So you are now one of the very few active NFL players with a podcast in Trust Levels Podcast with your boy Mark Ingram. Phenomenal podcast. You guys have a nice little star-studded guest. What's it like stepping into a new spotlight while you're playing and having a podcast like the Trust Levels Podcast?
I mean, when you're kicking it with your boys, there's nothing new. It's not like we're going out of our realm and like talking to, Stephen A. Smith or like some basketball guys or, at this point, it's just like what we're doing here. We're just kicking it with people that we know on and off the field. So it's not like awkward vibes, like trying to figure out who we are, give you like some straight-laced story. I'm kicking it. I'm relaxed. Like it's all just fresh vibes, especially when you talk about me and Mark, who, played our first 8 years together. I lived in his house, the first 3 weeks of my career in New Orleans because it was a lockout year and I didn't have a spot in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And he was already training out here. So I bummed on this couch for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That doesn't bring anybody closer. I don't know what will.
No question.
Hey, that's true.
Hey, bumming on a couch goes a long ways. I tell you what, so what made you guys want to do the podcast now? Because I want to rewind once again to about a year and a half ago. There was no active football players doing a podcast, and then two brave men bought a bus and decided to start their own podcast. Active football players now there's as far to go as several, which anybody who looks that up is more than three.
If you're going by the standards of when we kind of sit back and look, you got Trust Levels and Bussin, to where we feel
the McCoy twins also have their podcast too. And
yeah, they do, but
Lane.
they stopped during this. They're not doing it during the season.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I respect about the Trust Levels is they're still dropping one a week. They're doing it in season, and the other ones like Russell, I want to say Kirk might have a podcast, but they're under their umbrella of the organization.
Yeah.
They're like doing it with the organization.
And people do that all the time. I don't know if the Saints do that, but the Titans used to have like a radio show. They do like a 1 hour thing. It's like
once a week.
Yeah, and
they
they're
call
asking you
somebody
questions, and it's kind of cheesy.
Right.
And you're sitting there. The Titans did that. I did that my second year, and I love this because it's more raw, it's more real, and you get to see different vibes of just this guy with a helmet on who's dominant pass rusher. You get to see more of his personality too, and it's very cool that you guys are now on different teams, still doing the same thing. But I'm sure a lot of courage to start this thing did come because of the two brave men, Will Compton and Taylor Lewan, starting their own podcast.
No doubt. I would say, we definitely know about the Bussin' boys, but we also, look at like, Chris Long's green light situation.
Yeah.
There was
former player.
Right. And then, but we really, this off season, COVID, we were just sitting back and, we always, you have so much time. Just sit in the house and, I got 3 kids at the house. I'm like, I got to do something else.
Yeah.
Like what else?
Hey,
what else
yeah.
can we do?
Hey,
Like,
3 kids is a lot.
3 kids is a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And then, so it was just like, I started up like Cam's Corner on some IG Live, just chilling type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I was just calling friends around the league from Calais Campbell to, Keenan Allen to Marv Jones, Brandon Cooks, guys you play with in college or whatever. And I was like, this is sort of fun, let's invite somebody else. Like, let me get my dog involved. And who else would be better than somebody that, you know, we've traveled around the world together with, partied around the world, played football with, won, you know, gone to the playoffs multiple times with. So I was like, you know, bring it in. And then so just went in there. You know, I'm levels after every sack, and he became, you know, he big trust. So it was just a no-brainer. We snapped that thing up.
So that's why it's called trust levels, because he's big trust and you do the levels. You do the levels after the sack.
And I'm levels. Hey, 1 + 1 is 2, baby. You know, it makes it easy.
That is good math. Hey, you've done it. You've done it.
That's how it came about, is you doing IG lives and during quarantine, and then you're like, yo, let's put together a pod.
Flip it. Yeah, flip it. Let's have some real fun with it. Like, instead of doing these 5-10 minute, you know, 15-minute sessions, like, we can really show our followers, between me and him, you know, whatever it is on the gram. I was like, we could turn this into something, and then pitched it, sold it, you know.
So you pitch it to Players Tribune? Sorry, my bad.
No, you do whatever you want, baby. It's our podcast.
Yeah, I know. I just I sit there.
I'll tell you what, it's impressive to see, because I think a lot of people, I think LeBron James talks about all the time, just play basketball comments and stuff, like not being able to diversify yourself and kind of put yourself out there. That's been something in the past. You hear the old heads, the guys that played 10, 15 years before us, like, we stayed in our lanes back in the day, and we made sure that, you know, offensive linemen were just offensive linemen and ho-hum guys, and defensive linemen just did this, blah, blah, blah. It's really cool to see that dudes are evolving and now showing their personalities and showing younger kids that it's cool, it's okay to be your own person. And I think that's a huge thing. That's the biggest issue I had with football, or have with football, is so many times they try to put you in the box. Like, you got to act a certain way. You got to be this type of guy, when you can be whoever you want, as long as you produce, and, you know, then you're going to have the opportunity to do stuff like this.
Even on the football field, you know, they try and put you in a single box. They tell you you're a 4 technique or a 3 technique or a 5, or it's primarily a 5. And it's like, until you prove that you can do more, they just try and relegate you to one spot. You know, it's like that you're the left tackle, but they tell you, like, you can't pull sometimes. Like, you're not the preferential pulling tackle. Like, you know, they're always going to try and put you in the box, but it's up to us to, you know, see how we see ourselves.
Right.
And if you decide to be relegated into a box, that's on you. That just means, you know, you decided to let your alpha chill out, or sometimes you got to alpha out, bro.
So, hey, that's the best way to get noticed, is just to become an alpha. That's for damn sure. And you've definitely done that, dude. We're definitely happy to have you on the podcast. We appreciate it. Hey, the boys are always willing to go on trust levels.
Dude, hey, when we're in the off-season camp, we got to figure out a way to collaborate or do something, because we got to blow it up that we're carrying the torch for everybody else who's going to come into this podcast world with us.
Hey, I promise you, hey, when we kick off this, you know, the next season, and we're going to be calling y'all up. Sometime this off season, you know, when we're quote unquote, you know, ain't got much going on, it's gonna go on.
I love it.
He said always it's gonna go on. Hang on, before we let you go, have you had any stress with doing the podcast? Have you learned anything about, like, hey, it's a little different than what I thought it might be?
I mean, IG Live was simple because it was on my time. I was like, yo, every Wednesday around 5 o'clock, I'm gonna hop on and call a friend. You know, podcast is like, after we record it, it's like, hey, bro, I'm gonna send you this clip. If you like it, you know, let me know what you don't like.
Yeah.
Most guys are like, yeah, man, like, it's love. Like, you know what I'm saying? I trust you. And then you have like 1 or 2 guys like, I don't like this part. All right, let me go talk to him and try and
yes.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
You know, you got an hour worth of material that cuts down to 40 minutes. You're like, but some of this, like, the other 20 is the fire part. Don't cut out.
Right.
Like, that's the shit that people want to talk about, but you don't want to talk about it, so it's out.
Hey, sometimes ours run like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Sometimes ours are way too long.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. Hey, that's part of the big trust levels, though. You got to have big trust to get to the levels of that.
Whoop, whoop. Hey, just sit here, start acting like.
chill.
You know, but look, now you know me and you from Arizona, so
gotta love that.
I'm out here. Hey, big confidence swinging, like, oh yeah, we're blue state. And I'm sure Taylor's like, oh, somehow we became a blue state.
I'll tell you what, dude. I think everything in life needs checks and balances, and that's what our government's made on. Blue president, red senate. I'm happy. Keep the taxes a little lower. If that's all good, I'm all good.
Was Drew Brees upset?
Yeah, was Drew Brees upset?
We no longer have to, like, you know, worry about who's tweeting what at 2 o'clock in the morning.
No doubt.
Just like, oh, we have a president now. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty bad when other countries are celebrating us having a new president.
No question.
Right.
No question.
Right.
I'll tell you what. Some people don't think it's over, though. Some people think we'd never want to get into politics around, but
we're about to.
Some dudes think shit's going down. I'm about done with this line.
No, I'm like sinking back. Like,
oh shit! Here we go.
It's
No,
getting a little
yeah.
hot in here.
Growing up in Arizona, though, you never would have thought it would have been a swing state. We were always red, always, and
The
now,
last 24 years.
yeah,
It's crazy.
unbelievable. So
I feel like my vote actually mattered. I'm over here walking around big chest around the locker room like, what's up, fellas? Yeah, I voted.
yeah,
Hey, with stickers all over you and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
I
doubt.
voted.
saving them. Are you registered in Arizona?
You know which way Arizona swung, you know?
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, no doubt. Well, fuck. That's about as far as I'm willing to toe the line of politics. I'm fucking. I'm. That's it right there. That's done. I'm
No
done
doubt.
with
I
that.
understand.
Hey, we know you. We know you got to get to meetings. We genuinely appreciate you coming on the bus right after practice. Like I texted yesterday, I love your commitment. Much appreciated coming on the bus, wrapping it up with the boys, kicking it with the boys. Go enjoy
No
your
doubt.
meetings. Good luck. Who do you guys play this weekend?
The Niners.
Niners.
All right. Hey,
Hey,
take
That's what I'm
care.
saying.
Is Trent Williams playing?
I'm not even going to talk about it. Just we're going to focus on what we can control.
There you go.
I love it. Is Trent Williams playing?
I believe so.
I think he's been out the
Come
last
on.
couple weeks.
Has he?
Yeah, he was out.
Has
He
he?
was out a couple weeks. I don't know when he was. He's my favorite tackle in the league to watch. I love that dude. He's a stud. So athletic, so strong.
I was like, he definitely believes he's a mauler, and I'm like, well, but you're sort of a finesse guy. But
Hey, you can be both.
that's what they say. That's what they say.
If you're athletic enough, you can
You
be
know.
both.
Cam will find out.
Hey,
Cam
he's
gets
gonna
to find out.
No,
Trent gets to find out. Cam gets to
Cam
find
plays
out.
more on the right tackle. He's gonna get McGlinchey, white guy.
yeah.
Did
Wears his
Did
socks a
Cam
little
get
too
you at
high.
all? Did Cam get you at all last year?
No, Cam didn't get me. Cam went
hey,
over one time. He caught that
Demario.
reach block one time, and that was it. Yeah.
Hey, Demario.
Hey,
Hey, Demario got you.
got my ass last year.
Tannehill under pressure. Down he goes. That's the
Did he?
Oh,
Look, Jamar come
depleted
downhill,
me, bro. I don't know why you always bring that shit up with.
I don't- you know,
he was in the Saints for 46 hours, and he's fucking every time the Saints come, he's like, my fucking boys out there.
Oh,
this shit.
Rolling.
I'll tell you what, fuck this. I'm done with the podcast, dude. Yeah, no, Demar. Tell Demar I said what's up, and I can't wait to play you guys again because he definitely fucking depleted me, and that was not tight at all. That was not fun to be a part of.
I get you back.
I'm gonna get his ass back. There's no question about it. He's a good player, though.
Absolutely, bro. Like, you know, you got to keep your hits and keep on rolling. It's not a, you know, what coach say? It's not a crime to get put on the ground. It's a crime to stay on the ground.
No question.
So, you know,
That's why you
next
do.
play.
That's why you do bench press to get yourself up as fast as you can. Push yourself up.
Hell
Get out of
yeah.
there.
Hey, real quick, and then hit that Marshawn Lynch mentality. You know, I'm gonna get got, but I'm gonna give more than I got.
That's
Yeah, no
right.
question.
That's right.
Appreciate you, Cam.
Yeah, brother. Y'all take it easy.
See ya.
I see, bro.
I used to see that boy coming up with the fucking blue state. I'm like, hey, whoa.
Hey,
Checks and balances. Checks and balances.
And he goes, I know, Taylor probably like, yeah, when we sing blue, I'm like, oh, shit.
I kind of was.
Let's just start beads, like beads
sweating,
coming
man.
down. Yeah.
Damn.
You're like, checks and balances, you know, 50. I'm like, hey, what Drew Brees think? No one, you heard the joke.
I heard
He
it.
didn't hear the joke. That would have been
I
a
know.
solid
That would
one.
have been a solid one.